Paterson, not to get confused with C.R. Paterson and Son Company, two totally different companies, was founded in 1908 in Flint, Michigan by William A. Paterson, who was born in Canada in 1838, relocated to Flint, Michigan in 1869 at the age of 31. Before Paterson Automobile Company, William Paterson had a carriage company under the same name, which goes back a ways. The Paterson prototype came out in 1908, and Paterson's first cars used a two-cylinder air-cooled engine with a planetary transmission, chain drive, solid tires. Paterson sold 64 of those vehicles from late 1908 through 1909. In 1910, Paterson grew into a standard car or assembled car, getting parts, drivetrain parts, axles, everything that one would need to build a car from different manufacturers, and then they would take all of those parts and assemble the car in-house. The cars were powered by a 30 horsepower four-cylinder. Sales grew from 64 units to 450 units. Also in 1910, they ended carriage production, going all in on the automobile. A six-cylinder was introduced in 1915. Sales rose to 900 units that year. Four cylinders were discontinued after the 1916 model year. Paterson sourced their engines from Continental. Patersons were known as well-built cars. William A. Paterson would die in September of 1921 at the age of 83. His son, W.C. Paterson, took control of the company. Unfortunately, when William died, the country was going through a post-World War I depression, and they ended up selling the company to Dallas Winslow, a Dodge dealer in Flint, Michigan, in July of 1923. 1917, Paterson offered a single model, Model 6-45. It could be had in three body styles: 5-passenger touring, 4-passenger roadster, and 7-passenger touring. In 1917, Paterson cars were priced between $1,000 to $1,250. Cheap cars like, say, a Saxon was $865, but if you wanted, that was with a Saxon 6, if you wanted two less cylinders, it was $495, but the cheapest car of the day was the Ford Model T touring car, which was $360. Luxurious car prices, like, say, a Packard, was priced at $3,050 and could go as high as $5,150 for the Imperial Limousine, putting Paterson pretty much in the middle of the field, but I would say probably towards the lower end of the middle field, being priced competitively against a Buick and a Dodge. The engine powering the Model 6-45 is an interesting one, to say the least. It was supplied by Continental. It was only used for two engines, 1917 and 1918, advertised as being the high-speed model. It featured a detachable cylinder head, but something super interesting to note about this engine, it doesn't have an external fuel intake. It's like the AMC or Nash Flying Scot in that regard. The carburetor is mounted directly to the engine block. The intake does exist, but it happens inside the engine block. Let's talk specs. Rides a wheelbase of 117 inches. It weighs 2,700 pounds. Price, $1,095, which would be equivalent to you spending $27,715.13 in the year 2025. Total Paterson, and I'm not talking total 1917 Paterson. I'm talking the whole production run for Paterson was 12,650 units. Moving on to engine, only one engine on offer for Paterson in 1917, which was the 224 cubic inch displacement Continental 6-456. It was a flathead, 3.67 liters. It was good for 40 horsepower, around 2,600 RPM. This is just an estimate. 85 pound-feet or 115 newton meters, around 1,800 RPM, with a bore of 3 1/4 inch and a stroke of 4.5 inches. It is backed to a 3-speed manual transmission. If this is your first time ever witnessing this channel, I want to introduce myself. My name is Jay. I am your host, and this is What It's Like, the automotive channel that dives in deep on cars, brands that bit the dust long ago, stuff that doesn't really get talked about around the kitchen table. As you previously just witnessed, we dive in deep on the history, specs, and you're about to see the design. We do a full walk around, or there is a slow motion walk around at the end of each episode that gives you the opportunity to see this car in its entirety without me trying to explain things. And it also shows you where all of the stuff goes, like what body parts look like and trim. So I encourage you to stick around for that. If you dig what I do, subscribe and hit the bell icon next to it to never miss a video. I found this car at the Greenfield Village. It was part of the Old Car Festival. And if you've never been to that show, you should definitely check it out. It's like going back in time for a weekend. It's absolutely stellar. I'm not kidding you when I tell you it is my favorite car show this side of the Mississippi. So if you want to check out the details and plan your trip or plan your visit for next year, definitely I will link it in the description below. So be sure to click the link below after the show. Talk about one that you don't get to see ever. Let's talk styling. Notice this car does not have any bumpers on it. Here are little grease cups on the chassis itself. This grease cup will lubricate the leaf springs, which are right here. Just notice how everything is accessible. Speedometer is on this gear here. Place to put a crank if you want. Just take a look at these headlights. They're pretty big. My hand's 7.5 inches for reference. Nice bright bezels around. Paterson. This car doesn't have a mascot or modem meter on the radiator shroud. Butterfly hinged going back to the split windshield, which is split horizontal. Just take a look at how these fenders are designed. Beautiful painted red wood spoke wheels with white walls that accent the color so nicely. Let's take a gander at this fender profile, how it swoops down into the running board. Also notice the louver situation. There's only 4 louvers, very petite. Running boards looks to be about the same consistent size the whole way through. This car does not have any door handles external. Other interesting thing is the front door opens like a cabinet door. And the rear door opens the other way. There's an access hole here to get to the grease fitting for the rear leaf springs. Rear fenders. This car has a single brake light in the center, just above the license plate. There's also more back here for lubrication of the bottom springs. Also notice there is a leaf springs on top. Gas tank. Probably the weirdest 6-cylinder you've ever seen in your life. Thanks. Look at this carburetor setup. There's no actual intake. It just kind of goes right into the block. Got a massive generator here. The vacuum gasoline pump. Horn is mounted to that. Is that how the spark plug wire holder was? Or did you guys make that?
I assume that was how it was.
That's interesting. Got all these priming cups on top. Down here, it's all panned to keep it nice and clean in here. You have the oil pressure, oil level gauge. The steering. Just look at the spark plug arrangement. It's a 6-cylinder. There's 2 spark plugs here. Then there's 2 more here. They're not evenly spaced, and then 2 more over there. It's a single belt system with the fan, and then it's got gears that drive other things. Water pump, which is shaft drives the generator. distributor on the top. The coil's right behind it. It's very super interesting how it's all laid out. So how did you start?
Let's take it. We pull this out, choke a little bit.
this to? The headlights?
Headlight, yeah. I guess those are real funky too because you put a thing on here and it turns in like a ball. Oh, this is, yeah.
It's running out of gas. On the positive side, different car with a really cool history. It is powered by a Continental Inline 6. Against it, parts, information. The Continental Inline 6 could be, it's kind of finicky at times. All right, now it's time for Would You Rather. One scenario today, but which one would you rather have? 1917 Buick Series D, which was powered by a 35 horsepower overhead valve 4-cylinder and priced at $1,070, or 1917 Paterson 465, which was powered by a 40 horsepower inline 6-cylinder, which was priced at around $1,095, or 1917 Senior Series 2251 Dodge, which was powered by a 68 horsepower 6-cylinder for around $1,030. I'm going to leave this here for a minute. If you need more time, feel free, pause the video. Now it's time for Name That Tune. First person to get both the name of the band and or composer and the song title will have their comment pinned to the top of the comment section. Thank you all so much for coming out and watching this one. If you'd like to get in touch with me, shoot me a comment in the comment section below, or you can send me an email at what_its_like@yahoo.com. Thanks again for everything that you guys bring in the comment section. And until next time, toodaloo! Welcome to the after show. This part of the video doesn't have any sound or commentary, but it gives you the opportunity to see this car in its entirety, all of the parts and all the details and where they go. If you're restoring one, it definitely helps out. Seeing what the fenders look like, what the wheels look like, and everything else. Enjoy.